What country am I living in? This video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch link in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video, and let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, what country are we living in? What is happening to the beautiful United States of America? The land of the free, the land of justice, not the land of leftist lunatics and injustice and bias and revenge. Where have we gone, ladies and gentlemen? Now, the reason I'm making this video and making this statement is because y'all remember that couple, that wealthy couple that came out the house ready to go to war in St. Louis with those protesters pretty much broke down their security fence, their security gate, trespassed in their community, threatened to burn their house down and shoot people and hurt individuals. And they came out exercising their Second Amendment rights. Well, lo and behold, the police department at the direction of the DA decided to go in and conduct a search warrant on their house, or I don't know if it was arrest warrant or search warrant, but they ended up taking a warrant in their house. They weren't there, and they confiscated their firearms. Now, you tell me what constitutional obligation or constitutional right do a DA or any kind of government official have to arbitrarily go into somebody's house and take their firearms? Now, I know that there's nuances to it. I know that there's potentially evidence that they've gathered and put together some bogus investigation, in my personal opinion, to go in and do that. So I'm not going to sit here and act like they just woke up one day and went in their house. I believe that they put together a fraudulent investigation because it's politically expedient. It's politically correct. There is no way on God's green earth that a mob of people can break into your community, threaten your life, and you can't even walk outside with a gun. You can't walk outside with a gun. Now, I know people had a problem with them pointing a gun at them, but look, it is a threat of deadly force that is completely applicable in this situation where people are talking about pillaging you and burning down your house. How is that not a legitimate use of force application? How is it not? I just think that they have given the criminals more power than the law-abiding citizens. Listen, protesting, meaning that you can protest while maintaining integrity in the law, right? Martin Luther King protested. They were asked to leave private businesses. They were arrested from private businesses. Do you understand that? They were peaceful. They weren't burning stuff down. They weren't hurting anybody. People just didn't want them in a cafe, and they had a right to ask them to be removed by the police. That's just the way it is. Private property, private business is the same thing. Now, of course, they won in the civil rights case and pointed out the fact that you shouldn't be able to discriminate against somebody just solely on the color of their skin. Peaceful protest led to a victory. But when you out here talking about burning people's houses and you breaking through gates and ramming through communities, that's not protesting. This community had nothing to do with what you're protesting about, unless you're a racist and you're actually trying to go after white people intentionally, maliciously. And that's exactly what they're doing. George Floyd, any of these police brutality situations didn't happen in this gated community. None of these people in this gated community are probably police officers. So why then are you going into their area to protest and threaten people? At what point in America have we allowed it to go from protest to a domestic terrorist group? There is no justification for this. Because what do you want them to do? Go into the community, start throwing Molotov cocktails in the window, burning somebody's $1 million house that they didn't work hard to build? And that's just totally okay in the name of George Floyd. It's crazy to me, man. This stuff is getting out of control. This is not the country that I know. I mean, the police officers in Georgia were arrested for doing their job according to the law. They get arrested for no reason. These individuals, in my personal opinion, stepped outside of their house to threaten deadly force against people to defend their property and their lives. They get indicted. The lady, I mean, I don't know if they got indicted, but they got their guns confiscated and all of the above. There is a lady and a man who in California painted over the Black Lives Matter painting all the way down the street. They painted over it. They got charged with a hate crime. How is that a hate crime? I would argue this. If you do not agree with the Black Lives Matter sentiment? Not just the word, but the sentiment and what the organization stands for. Isn't it hate speech if you put that down on somebody? Oh, not hate speech, but isn't it what they call a hate crime if you lay that down on the asphalt of a community that disagree with it, that believe that Black Lives Matter is anti-white? Isn't that a hate crime? Just by putting it down in that street, unbeknownst to the citizens, or even in conflict with citizens that live in the area that feel offended by the Black Lives Matter sentiment and what they project on their website, that should be a hate crime. So if you're going to say it's a hate crime to paint over this, it should be a hate crime for you to paint it in the first place. Why are we dabbling in the ungodly and foolery? This is the beginning of the end if we don't do something about it. This is the beginning of the end if we don't do something about it. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know as clear as I'm sitting here talking to you today, if a Democrat gets in the office, you can only imagine how much worse it's going to get. You can only imagine the level of censorship that's going to happen. You can only imagine the level of book burning and revisionist history that's going to go on if a Democrat gets into the presidential position. And if they ever get the Senate, it's over for America as we know it. It's over for conservatives as we know it. Now, anything you do in conjunction or in contrary to what they're pursuing, even how malicious their pursuit is, it's hate speech. It's racism. You can go to prison. It's a hate crime. Imagine executive orders that's going to be signed. Imagine all of this. The worst case scenario that you can think about, that's what's going to happen if you vote for a Democrat. One of these far left Democrats, because they ain't running nobody with sense. They're all far left and deranged. I want you to think about that. Come November, I want you to process that. I don't care what you think about Donald Trump. But the fact that these leftists being in control, like you see in Seattle, the craziness in California, the craziness in New York, these leftists are going to destroy America. I'm just letting you know. You don't have to pay me nothing. I just saved your life right now. I just saved your life and saved you from voting for the worst possible candidate in United States history, Joe Biden. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You know, I ain't going to charge you nothing. But think about that for a minute. Think about that. Now, write in the comment section, let me know, because I can keep talking about this. But let me know what you think about the situation. Should these people have a search warrant conducted on their house, recovering their firearms? Should they even be investigated in the first place? You let me know. Like, subscribe to the channel. Visit the Officer Tatum store where you get all the cool merch. Y'all know what it is. See you on the next one. I'm out.